All right, so let's get into it. Let's talk about it. 2026, we still have people coming in to the gig economy wanting to be delivery drivers because maybe they were too young once upon a time to actually do it, and they felt that once they got old enough, then they'll get behind the wheel and do what they've seen other drivers doing, making deliveries for apps such as DoorDash, Ubereats, Grubhub, Ship It, Walmart Spark, all these other apps, Roadie, and now they're old enough to do it. Sometimes because you've seen other people doing it, does not mean that it's going to be the same way that it was when you witnessed other drivers doing this. It's different. 2026 has to be the worst time to be doing deliveries, especially with gas prices up, food, clothes, healthcare, baby care. As far as if you have a child, you're just making money to lose it, right? You're not making anything that is, I guess, a gain, especially in the delivery game. The delivery game, by all levels, was always meant to be a side hustle. That's just my personal opinion, mainly because I came from a career field, and in 2021, I jumped into it. The pandemic happened. Rest in peace to those that lost their lives. And as a side hustle, I was an eBay seller. So what does that mean? Well, because of the way I sold product, I used to go to estate sales, Goodwills, garage sales, things like that. And once it came about that we had to wear masks, we couldn't be around each other. You had to be 6 feet away from everyone. It just made it not worth the time, right? So I was in a good space. I'm retiree, but I was doing eBay as a side hustle and making pretty good money, right? Making good money actually from doing eBay. But when that took place, jumped into the gig game, right? Because it was open, the opportunity was there, and I had no clue. I didn't even know what this was, right? I never heard of DoorDash. I'm telling you, and people don't believe when people tell them something they never heard of, that's facts. When you have a busy, structured life, you don't think about those type of things because to me, that's small, right? It's big for the corporation, but it's small for the little guy, meaning us, the delivery drivers. Now, when I jumped in, it didn't seem like that was the case because we were making good money. Anybody, like I said before, that was doing this in 21, you know what the money was like. Now, you fast forward and move that up to 2026, you still got people talking about the delivery game and they're complaining, right? So my whole thing is, why would you be in something if the only thing it's going to make you feel is miserable, right? It took me up to 2025 when I finally just told myself enough was enough. And basically, it wasn't because, well, I put it this way. The last bit of hope I had in the delivery game was actually in the grocery side of the house. I didn't have to shop for my customers. The only thing we did, we poured in the stalls and we were making $35, $40 runs. 7 miles across from the store across to where I live is 7 miles plus another mile maybe. So that gives you like 8 miles. But we were making $30 and $40 runs. And basically you pull into a stall, the shoppers of the store, the employees, they were walking around, shop for the customer, bag it all up, bring it to us. And the only thing we did was we poured in the stall and we got loaded out and we only had one customer, right? Every now and then they may try to stick you with two. But for the most part, it was always one customer and we got paid well, right? So that was my last bit of hope. And then one day in 2025, we started seeing those grocery orders dropping, right? The orders were there. The price value was dropping. They went as low as 12 and below trying to get drivers. to make these runs from them. And you had drivers that was actually just still doing it. They were making the runs because they put themselves in the situation where it wasn't a side hustle. They were actually doing this because this was the way they made their money. I know drivers from, talking and being on the parking lot with them. That was their bread and butter. They loved the gig game. But they were getting nervous because they were starting to complain because they were wondering, hey, what's going on? This is what I'm basing my salary on for my livelihood, and we're not getting paid anymore, right? Customers, pockets, belts, and things like that began to tighten up, and they couldn't afford themselves to pay out that money because you got to remember, that is where we got our money from, majority of it. After 22, the majority of your money came from the customer. It didn't really come from the app, right? It mainly came from the customer. And depending on your market, that is how you were going to make your money, right? So if your market was good, then you're going to see money. But if it's not that good, but people are using the service, then they're going to pay what they can afford. And then, of course, you're going to have drivers that are trying to make ends meet. So guess what? They're going to have to eat it. And they're going to bend over. And they're going to take it and make those deliveries. 7 miles, $12. That's 14 miles because you got to go 7 across, 7 back for $12. So that's 14 miles. And for some reason, they were doing the grocery runs. And the reason why I know those numbers exist because I used to receive them. Because like I said, as a retiree, I could go up there and open it at 8 o'clock and be on station, right? Now, at first when we used to do it, it used to be $35, $40 runs. Hell, I got an $80 run before, right? And now, like I said, just picking up and dropping it off. That was it. Customers were paying. But once everything hit the fan and, prices started changing, food started costing more, the numbers just wasn't there anymore. People were still using the service, but you had only a few. It wasn't as hot as it used to be. You could make a delivery, get done with that one, and then your phone would go off again to come back over and pick up another load. That is how popular it was when it was running. But once people started seeing their pockets or their bank accounts not having that same money in it that they used to have, hey, they had to change the game. It wasn't as popular anymore. They was shopping for themselves now. So you go to the grocery store is packed. People are doing their own shopping. People going to get their own food. You have a few people that are still having deliveries made to them, but they're not trying to pay anything, right? So, yeah, in 2026, it's hard to believe that people are complaining about something that is easy and should be able to be walked away from. So that is like the question. Is it hard for delivery gig drivers to walk away from the gig companies, right? Because it just seems like you want to do it just so you can have something to complain about. You already know what your day is going to be like. It's not going to change. Every day you wake up, it's going to be the same headache, right? You're going to see a bunch of orders, and you're not going to take a lot of orders because the math just doesn't match up, right? It's going to be upside down. Why would you take these runs? So the other thing is, why would you keep going out in the morning just to see what's going to be the same routine as it was the day before, last week, last month, going on for a year? And why would you put up with the apps disrespecting you as a driver, right? People get mad at customers and they say customers don't want to tip. The blame is on the apps. The apps are making serious cash. And they're only paying $2, maybe $3, maybe $4 here and there. But for the most part, it's always been $2. And, excuse me, that is who you really should be mad at, right? Because they are getting the bulk of everything. And drivers are just getting the crumbs. So again, it should be walk away, don't look back, just keep going. Find something else to do. It's a lot of things that can be done. You just have to have the mindset and the strength to sacrifice and make it happen. If that means going back and get yourself a trade and it's going to take 2 years, do it, right? Take it and run with it if it's in your area that it can be done. And take it serious, because to me, the gig service should be a wake-up call to what you need to have in order to maintain a livelihood, right? And I know some people live in areas where no matter what you do, it's hard to afford the cost of living, right? You can be a professional as far as a nurse, delivering mail or whatever, and the cost of living is so high that you are living. I know people that I've seen saying, hey, I work here and I still can't afford it, but this is where I'm at and I'm living in my car while I'm working. They go to Planet Fitness and places like that to get themselves cleaned up, and then they go to work because they cannot afford to get themselves in that apartment, and they can't afford to get themselves in that house because the interest rate is so high. So those things do exist, so I know. But that too can be an easy mission. Transfer out and go somewhere where you think you can afford it, right? Move somewhere that's gonna make you happy. I'm originally born and raised somewhere else, but where I live, I can afford the cost of living here, and I'm comfortable. I put myself in a lane where traveling is not necessary. People travel here in order to have a vacation. I'm already here. It fell in my lap and I didn't look back. And I told my family, hey, y'all want to see me? You're going to have to come down this way, because for me to afford my livelihood, this works for me. And they said, we understand, right? So we all close-knit and stuff like that. But yeah, when it's all said and done, you got to be able to take care of yourself, right? You got to be able to take care of yourself. You can't rely on others to take care of you. And the one thing you really can't rely on is the apps. The apps don't care. You are, like I said before, you're just a tool, and they will get another tool out the box just as good that will do exactly what you want to do. And hey, they're not going to fire you, right? If you decide you don't want to turn the apps on, hey, whenever you feel like doing it, cut them on. You will not be let go. And you will not have no letter telling you, well, we didn't see you, so we got rid of you. Somebody else got your job, right? That's the thing about being an independent contractor. You can come and go as you please. You can get on there whenever you feel like it. That's the freedom. But you still need to make money. And if you don't get online and this is all you got, then you can't make no money. But you can rebound and you can hit the reset button. And just, especially if you're young, man, if you're young ladies, young men, if you're young, get yourself out of this rat race, get yourself into a trade, and just say, I woke up that these apps showed me the light. Life is serious. And people have been telling me this, and I didn't listen. Now I'm listening. And then just go ahead and get yourself back out there and get yourself where you need to be at. And then you can open up your own thing. You don't have to just do something and then go work for somebody else. If you become a welder, electrician, plumber, or anything like that, you can set up your own shop. Those three things people always need when it comes down to what people need. You need welders, you need plumbers, you need electricians, right? Landscapers. These things are always necessities for people's homes, and they always call it. If they're in your area and you're good, they're going to call you, and you're going to make money. I just paid $200 for somebody to change out a sensor on my garage. Changed out 2 sensors for me that lets the garage up and down, right? I had to buy them from them, had them install them, and that was $200 flat. And they did me, I probably paid more than what it was really worth, but it didn't matter. I need to get it done, right? And then the other thing was, when it was all said and done, they put some more maintenance to my garage to make sure that it was in good shape once they got done. They did an inspection for me. And it passed with flying colors. It wasn't no problem. I knew it was. But at the same time, they went out their way to make sure that happened. But yeah, they made in 20 minutes to 30 minutes, $200 once they arrived. That is what I paid them in cash. My sensor's fixed. My garage goes up and down. And that's what I mean. There's opportunity out there where you can make money in minutes. In minutes. and not have to sit out there for hours in the hot sun. Summertime coming up. Weather's changing. Think how hot it's going to be. And you sitting out there trying to make a couple of dollars, but you out there for 14, 15 hours just to do that. And your car is going to be taking it. Your car is going to be taking it. So if you're new to this, you haven't even seen what's coming down the pipe. Wait until the summertime get here. Then you'll see exactly what we're talking about. So yeah, it just seems like people are hard. People can't walk away from the gig work for some reason. But anyway, like, subscribe, leave a comment if you want to about what you feel about it. And, you know, like I said, I did it for 4 years. And I finally told myself that I was done. Grocery game was my last resort with this. And when that dried up, I said, okay, it's a wrap. I'm out. So with that said, I'm out. Y'all take care. Peace.